Have you ever heard your alarm go off, and it felt like you were stepping into a battle? On one side, the warm blanket pulling you back. On the other side, the world out there waiting for you to rise, waiting for you to begin. The question is, which side will you choose? Because that tiny choice can shape your entire life. The difference is not luck. It's not talent. It's discipline. We live in an age of ease. Hungry. Tap a button. Food shows up at your door. Tired one, quick scroll, and thousands of videos drag you into an endless loop. Everything is designed to make us softer, to make us forget how to resist ourselves. But remember this: no lasting marriage was ever built on comfort. No solid career was ever built on a soft chair. No strong body was ever built on indulgence. It all begins on those mornings you don't want to get up, but you get up anyway. With those little tasks you don't want to do, but you still do them. Discipline is a kind of mental muscle. Every time you choose the harder thing, you lift one more rep. Every time you take one more step while tired, you forge one more invisible tendon of strength. And one day, that strength turns you into someone new. Someone even you are surprised to meet when you look back. I remember a friend once said, "Monday is the battle. If I win that morning, the whole week doesn't scare me." He was right. Discipline isn't some grand gesture. It's a small choice repeated until it becomes part of your very blood. And when that happens, the world can't help but notice the difference. Picture this: one person who only moves when inspiration strikes, and another who moves even when there's no inspiration at all. Who will go farther? Who will build a life worth being proud of? Life never promised us ease, but it always gives us a choice to live soft or to live with discipline. Every morning when you rise, you're not just waking up for work. You're writing another line in the story of your life. So tomorrow when the alarm rings, will you stay down or will you stand up? If you're hearing this today, start with something small. Just one thing. Do it even when you don't want to. That one act could be the first step toward a stronger, braver, more disciplined version of you. And if you want a reminder like this every day, hit subscribe, because we'll walk this path together, and I'll keep reminding you greatness never comes from ease. Have you ever wondered why some people collapse in the face of hardship while others in the very same storm rise stronger than ever? Are they luckier? Were they born with some secret strength? Or do they hold a hidden weapon most of us forget? Discipline. Many hear discipline and think of restriction of losing freedom. But the truth is the opposite. If you are disciplined with your work, money will not control you. If you are disciplined with your health, sickness cannot chain you. If you are disciplined with your mind, wild emotions cannot drag you down. Discipline is not a chain. It's the key that unlocks freedom. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Epictetus, once a slave, later a philosopher, said, "It's not the things themselves that disturb us, but the way we see them." They knew discipline is the armor of the mind. It doesn't erase the chaos. It carries you through the chaos without being swept away. Discipline won't make life easier. It makes you stronger. But here's the secret. Discipline cannot last unless you know why you need it. A mother stays awake all night for her child. A soldier endures hardship for his country. No one has to remind them. Because when the purpose is big enough, fatigue feels small. When you know what matters most, temptation loses its grip. At that point, discipline is no longer a burden. It becomes your ally. I want to share with you 13 ancient Stoic rules for training the mind. Not dry philosophy, but torches to light the path when you walk through darkness. But remember, knowing is not enough. Hearing is not enough. The true value comes only when you practice. Every disciplined action, no matter how small, is a victory. A victory over yourself, over procrastination, over ease, and day by day, step by step, you stop being a victim of circumstance. You become the driver of your own life. Life will always be turbulent. You cannot control everything, but you can always control yourself. Discipline is not a prison. It's a pair of wings, wings that lift you beyond your old limits. Tomorrow when the alarm rings, will you stay down or will you rise and write another powerful chapter in your story? Start today with just one small act. Turn off your phone before bed. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Get up when the alarm goes off. One small step can change the direction of an entire life. And if you want to walk this path with me, hit subscribe. Each week, we'll learn practice and strengthen our discipline together. Because as Marcus Aurelius said, true power is not in the world outside. It's in your mind. Have you ever felt that the more comfort you have, the less stable you feel inside? We have everything at our fingertips. Food in one tap, entertainment in one swipe, everything quick, easy, comfortable, but that very comfort is stripping away our mental muscle. And you know this truth. Greatness has never been born from ease. Discipline is not a chain. It's the key that opens freedom. When you master yourself, money no longer controls you. Emotions no longer drown you. Circumstances no longer shake you. Discipline is like a lighthouse. No matter how wild the storm, it stands tall, shining, steady, unmoved. And the journey to build that strength is never a matter of one day or two. It's a lifetime. It's a journey of 13 steps. Each step is a lesson. Each step a brick laid into the foundation of your mind. From the way you see the world to the way you act every single day. This is not distant philosophy. This is a tool for living, a path that leads you to the strongest version of yourself. Life will never stop testing you, but you can always choose how you stand firm. And discipline is the pair of wings that carries you beyond every old limit. So, are you ready to take this 13-step journey? Remember, every day you delay is a day you lose the chance to master yourself. If you truly want to train your mind, if you want a life that isn't dragged around by circumstance, hit subscribe. Because starting today, we will walk together, one small step at a time, one act of discipline at a time. And day by day, you will realize you are no longer a victim of life. You are the one at the wheel, and our journey begins with the foundation of all discipline. Before you can act, you must learn to master your thoughts and your emotions. Rule number 1: the mirror of death. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, if today were my last day, how would I live differently? It sounds frightening, but the truth is, this is one of the most powerful questions a human being can ever ask. The Stoics had a name for it: memento mori. Remember, you will die. We often live as if we were immortal. We postpone what truly matters. We waste hours staring at screens, arguing over things no one will remember tomorrow. But when you remember that time is limited, everything changes. Death is no longer a shadow to fear. it becomes a mirror showing you what really matters. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and what you say and what you think." He wasn't trying to scare you. He was trying to wake you up, to keep you from wasting another day. Epictetus reminded us, don't fear death. Fear never having lived at all. Picture an hourglass. You don't know how many grains of sand are left on top. You only know they're falling, one by one, and they never go back. Life is the same. You don't know how many days remain, but you know for certain, each day that passes is a grain of sand gone forever. Will you let them fall into nothing, or will you turn them into a masterpiece? Worth looking back on. When you truly grasp how short time is, you change. A conversation with a loved one, you listen with your whole heart. That task you've been putting off, you do it now without delay. That dream you've buried, you take the first step, even if it's small. The paradox is this: it is death itself that teaches us how to live fully. The Stoics had a simple practice. In the morning, when you open your eyes, whisper to yourself, "Today could be my last," not to sink into despair, but to live from the very first moment. And at night, before you sleep, ask yourself, if today were my last day, would I be satisfied with how I lived? If the answer is no, then tomorrow you know exactly how to live differently. Today, psychologists call this mortality salience, the awareness of life's finiteness. And research shows when people truly remember death, they become kinder. They focus on what matters. They stop caring about the trivial and the shallow. The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. Rule number 1: the mirror of death is not here to make you tremble. It is here to remind you your time is short, and it is the very shortness of life that makes every single day priceless. You can keep living as if you had endless tomorrows, or you can begin today. Cherish every hour, every minute. So here's a small challenge. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, whisper, "Today could be my last." And tonight, before you close your eyes, ask, if this were the last day, would I be proud of how I lived? If the answer is no, tomorrow gives you another chance to rewrite your story. And if you want to keep walking with me, exploring more Stoic rules for life, hit subscribe. Together we'll learn to master the mind act with intention and live a life truly worth remembering before the last grain of sand falls. You see, when you look into the mirror of death, you can't keep living half asleep. You realize every day could be your final day, and that truth wakes you up. But knowing is not enough. The next question is, how will you live each of those days? Because even with death on the horizon, we still have to face the small storms of everyday life. An insult, a look of disrespect, a sudden wave of anger over something trivial. This is where rule number 2 begins, the rule of emotional responsibility. Rule number 2, emotional responsibility. Have you ever let your entire day be ruined just because of a single text, a cold glance, or one careless comment? Why do we let other people's moods control our lives? Isn't real power found, not in what happens, but in how we respond? Picture this: a single matchstick. It can burn down an entire forest, but only if there's gasoline around. It's the same with life. Words, actions, outside events, they're just the match. Your reaction, that's the gasoline. Stay calm, and the flame dies out on its own. But let your emotions ignite, and in seconds, your peace of mind can go up in flames. Epictetus once said, It's not things that disturb us, but the way we see them. Between the event and your reaction, there's always a pause. And inside that pause lives your freedom. You have the power to choose. You are not a slave to your first emotion. Think about it. Does an insult really hurt you? Or is it your decision to believe that insult that gives it power? The Stoics had a rule. You are fully responsible for your response. That sounds tough. I know, because it's so much easier to blame others. I'm angry because he disrespected me. I'm sad because she left me. But the truth is, no one can make you feel anything unless you let them. They provide the spark. You decide if it becomes a wildfire. So how do we practice this? The Stoics suggest 2 simple steps. First, pause. Breathe. Then ask yourself, 1. Is this thought useful? When you replay those hurtful words, are you making things better or just pouring salt on the wound? 2. What would my strongest self do if you were calmer, wiser, more grounded? How would you respond? That single pause can transform you from a victim into the driver of your own life. Today, neuroscience calls this the response gap. Your emotional brain reacts instantly, but your rational brain needs a few seconds to catch up. If you learn to create that gap, just 3 deep breaths, you give yourself the power to choose instead of just react. It's like grabbing the reins of a wild horse. Hard at first, but once you hold them, that horse can carry you far instead of dragging you off a cliff. Emotional responsibility may sound heavy, but it's actually a gift. It means you are never a victim of anyone else. You always have the power to choose your response. You can't control every event, but you can always control yourself in this moment. So next time someone tries to hurt you, will you hand them your power, or will you keep it for yourself? Start today, just once. In one small moment, pause, breathe, and ask, what would my strongest self do right now? Because every time you pause, you train the most important muscle you'll ever build, the muscle of self-mastery. And if you want to keep walking with me through these 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. We'll keep going step by step, building an inner strength that nothing can shake. You see, once you take responsibility for your emotions, no one else controls you. No insult, no action, no judgment from outside can dictate the state of your inner world. But there is a trickier enemy, and it doesn't come from other people. It lives inside your own mind. It's regret over the past and fear of the future. How many times have you sat here, yet your mind was dragged back to a mistake long gone? How many nights have you stayed awake, worrying about something that hasn't even happened yet? The Stoics remind us the past no longer exists. The future is not yet here. The only thing you truly have is this moment. And that leads us to rule number 3. Master the present. Rule number 3. Master the present. Have you ever lain in bed while your mind was somewhere else? Part of you replaying old mistakes. Another part fearing what hasn't even happened yet. And then you realize an entire day has slipped away, but you never truly lived that day. Why is it that we're here, but our mind is wandering somewhere else? Could that be why we feel so drained? Even when we've done so little, most of us live like this. Half our mind trapped in the past, if only. The other half racing into the future. What if? And the result, the present. The only place life actually happens gets abandoned. And our whole life passes by. with so few moments where we're really present in it. The Stoics had a word for this prosos, a Greek term meaning absolute attention to the present moment. Epictetus taught, if you want freedom, don't chase what lies beyond your control. Take care of what's right in front of you right now. The past is gone. The future isn't here yet. Only the present is solid ground beneath your feet. And if you don't seize this moment, you seize nothing at all. Imagine you're rowing a boat across the sea. Keep looking back and you'll crash into the rocks. Fix your eyes only on the far horizon and you'll drift off course. The key: it's the oar in your hands. Every steady stroke pushes you forward. The present is that oar. If you master it, you master the entire journey. When you're truly present, life becomes sharper. You're no longer pulled apart by if only and what if. Your decisions become wiser, your emotions steadier. And suddenly, even a cup of coffee in the morning, your child's smile, a ray of sunlight through the window, becomes deeper, more precious. The Stoics suggested a simple practice. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing I can do right now, not tomorrow, not next week, right now? Maybe it's listening to a loved one with your full attention. Maybe it's finishing that task you've been avoiding. Or maybe it's just taking a deep breath and realizing you are alive. Today, science calls this mindfulness. And research shows people who live in the present feel less stressed, less anxious, and far happier. The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. Science is only now catching up. To master the present is to master life. The past is only memory. The future is only imagination. But the present is a gift, and your time is limited. If your mind stays stuck in back then or someday, you'll miss the only moment you ever truly own. So right now, will you dare to ask yourself, what is the most important thing I can do right now? Try it once. Choose one small action and do it with your full presence. Because every moment you are truly present is a moment you reclaim control of your life. And if you want to keep walking with me through these 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. Together, we'll learn to stay strong in every single breath of the present. When you master the present, you finally begin to live fully in every moment. But here's the paradox. To truly cherish the present, the Stoics taught us to imagine losing it. And that brings us to rule number 4. The power of imagined loss. Rule number 4, the power of imagined loss. Have you ever asked yourself, what if tomorrow I lost everything? It sounds terrifying, doesn't it? But hidden inside that question is a strange kind of power, because it makes you cherish what you already have, and it prepares you for the storms that will eventually come. Most of us live as if everything will always be there. The job, the house, our health, our loved ones. We take them for granted until something shakes us awake. An email that says, you're fired. A phone call from the hospital. A message that ends a relationship. And only then do we realize everything we cling to can vanish in an instant. The Stoics had a practice called premeditatio malorum. It means imagining loss, hardship, disaster before it happens. Not to torture yourself, but to train, to prepare, so that when the storm finally hits, your mind doesn't get swept away. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you kiss your wife, your child, remember they are not yours forever. So when fate takes them, you can endure without despair." At first, it sounds cold, but in truth, it's an act of deeper love. Because when you know something may be gone one day, you treasure it twice as much today. Think of it like carrying an umbrella. You can't stop the rain from falling, but if you've practiced holding the handle, when the sky breaks open, you won't panic. Imagining loss works the same way. You can't escape hardship, but you can strengthen your psychological immune system to face it with courage. A soldier doesn't wait until war begins to train for battle. He drills before it comes. And you can drill your mind by facing loss in imagination first. Try this. Spend a few quiet minutes each day. Close your eyes. Imagine losing something you hold dear. Maybe it's your job. Maybe it's your health. Or maybe it's someone you love. At first, you'll feel sadness, but then gratitude will rise. You'll realize everything you have today is already a gift. And then ask yourself, if the worst really happened, how would I rise? How would I rebuild? Where would I find my strength? That way, you're not just preparing for the storm, you're also learning to savor the sunlight. When you practice this, gratitude shows up instantly. A simple meal feels like joy. A hug becomes sacred. A moment of laughter feels like treasure. And beyond gratitude, you're building resilience. When hardship truly comes, you won't crumble so easily, because you've rehearsed it in your mind. You've already practiced getting back up before you ever fell. The power of imagined loss doesn't make you pessimistic. It makes you awake. It gives you new eyes to see life with gratitude and with readiness. Nothing in this life is certain, except one thing: everything will change. The question is, will you wait for the storm to hit before you learn to steer, or will you start training your mind today? Take one small step. Tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and imagine losing something you love. Then, open your eyes and look at it again with a brand new sense of appreciation. If you want to keep walking with me through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. Together, we'll keep building strength that holds steady, no matter how the world outside may change. Because when you train yourself to face the thought of loss, you learn to treasure the present, and you learn to keep your mind unshaken. And the next step is learning how to see everything fairly, not painting it brighter, not painting it darker, just seeing it exactly as it is. That's rule number 5, the discipline of objective judgment. Rule number 5, the discipline of objective judgment. Have you ever wondered why the same event feels like a disaster to one person, but a hidden opportunity to another? A failed business. For one, it's the end of the road. For another, it's the start of something new. A sudden rain shower. One person complains, another smiles and enjoys it. So what makes the difference? The event itself, or the way we see the event? The Stoics believed this. Events themselves are neither good nor bad. They are neutral. You're stuck in traffic. The bare fact is simple: more cars than usual. But your mind rushes to add a label. This is terrible. I'm going to be late. And it's that label, not the traffic itself, that creates your frustration. Epictetus said it best. It's not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things. Remember rule number 2. We said you are fully responsible for your emotions. Well, rule number 5 is the tool. When you separate events from judgment, you take back control. You stop being a puppet yanked around by every string of instant emotion. Think of it like wearing colored glasses. If the lens is tinted red, you see red everywhere. If it's gray, the whole world looks dark. Events are neutral. It's the lens, your judgment, that decides if life looks bright or bleak. So before you react, take off the glasses. See the event as it really is. No more, no less. Start small. When you're stuck in traffic, instead of saying, "This is awful," try, "There are more cars than usual." When it rains on your walk, instead of, "My day is ruined," try, "Today is wet." It sounds simple, but words shape perception. Perception shapes emotion. When you change the story you tell, you stop pouring fuel on the fire. You create space to choose your action, or simply to accept reality. Neuroscience backs this up. Our brains are wired to label events instantly. It's a survival instinct from ancient times, rustling in the bushes, danger. But today, that same mechanism creates stress over things that aren't life or death at all. By training yourself to see events as they are, you reprogram your brain. You build a new mental muscle. Don't judge right away. Just observe. And the more you train, the stronger that muscle becomes. Rule number 5 reminds us, events don't decide your life. Your judgment does. Life is already hard enough. Don't let your mind make it heavier. So tomorrow, when something irritates you, pause, take a breath, and ask, what's the raw truth here? No labels, no storyline, just the fact. And you'll see, peace isn't far away. It's been there all along, just waiting for you to take off the glasses. If you want to keep walking with me through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. Together, step by step, we'll build a mind that stays steady even in a world that never stops changing. Because once you learn to judge with clarity, to see things exactly as they are, a new question rises. If this goal truly matters, who do I need to become to achieve it? That's our next step. Rule number 6, become the person your goal demands. Rule number 6, become the person your goal demands. Have you ever set a big goal, felt excited for a few days, and then quit after a few weeks? The gym is packed in January. By March, it's empty. A book project, a new diet, a promise you made to yourself. Why do we fail so often? Maybe the problem isn't the goal. Maybe the problem is the person chasing it. Most of us think like this. I want this result, so I'll force myself to do that action. I want to lose weight, so I force myself to go to the gym. I want to write a book, so I force myself to sit at the keyboard. But after a few weeks, the motivation fades, and we slide back into the old identity. Why? Because deep down, you still believe you're the lazy one, or the person who's not a real writer. And when your identity doesn't change, your new actions feel like clothes that don't fit. You can wear them for a while, but you won't keep them on for long. The Stoics had a powerful insight. First, decide who you want to be. Then do the things that person would do. Don't just think about the result. Think about the identity the result requires. You're not just losing weight. You're becoming the kind of person who values health. You're not just writing a book. You're becoming the kind of person who honors creativity and shares wisdom. When your identity shifts, action stops being a burden. It becomes natural. Think of it this way. Every action you take is a vote. Every workout is a vote for the healthy person. Every writing session is a vote for the creative person. Every time you choose patience over anger, that's a vote for the calm person. One vote may seem small, but over time, they add up. And those votes shape your identity. And that identity shapes the direction of your life. You don't have to change everything in one day. You only need to ask today, What's one action that casts a vote for the person I want to become? Maybe it's a 15-minute walk. Maybe it's a short journal entry. Maybe it's choosing one healthy meal. What matters isn't the size of the action, it's the consistency. Because it's repetition that carves the new identity into you. I once had a friend who always said, "I'm just not a patient person." So he started meditating, just 5 minutes every morning, day after day. Each session was a vote for the calm person. And a few months later, he didn't have to force it anymore. Patience became part of who he was. Do you see? That's not just habit change, that's identity change. Rule number 6 reminds us a goal is not just a destination, it's a compass, pointing toward the person you must become. Your time is limited. You can't be everything, but you can choose, who do I want to be? So right now, who do you want to become? A healthier person, a creative person, a patient person, a courageous person. Start with one small action today. One vote for the identity you want to build. And if you stay consistent, one day you'll look in the mirror and see someone completely transformed. If you want to keep walking with me through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. Together we'll move step by step, action by action, until you become the strongest version of yourself. But to become the person your goal demands, you can't rely on bursts of willpower. You need a solid foundation, a system you can repeat every single day. And that's where we turn to rule number 7, build the process. Rule number 7, build the system. Have you ever reached a goal and then felt empty right after you lost the weight, but slid back into old habits? You finished the big project, but the motivation vanished the next day. Why does that happen? Maybe because we focus only on the reward at the end and forget to build the road that gets us there. Goals matter. They give direction. They spark excitement. But here's the problem with goals, they're short-term. You hit the target, and how long does that feeling last? A day, a week, and then what? If you fail, you don't just lose the goal, you lose faith in yourself. That's why so many people live stuck in a loop. Excitement, effort, burnout, quit. The Stoics would remind us, don't just chase results, build systems. What's a system? It's a set of small, repeatable actions, habits you stack day after day, steps that quietly shape you into the person you want to become. There's a famous saying, you don't rise to the level of your ambition, you fall to the level of your habits. Success doesn't come from giant goals. It comes from tiny routines repeated daily. Think of a goal like a dam. When you finish, you feel proud. But without a flowing river, the dam runs dry. The system is the river. It flows. It sustains. It makes results last. You want to lose weight. Don't just say, I'll drop 10 pounds in 3 months. Build a system, walk after dinner, cook at home, sleep enough. You want to write a book. Don't just stare at 300 pages. Build a system, 500 words every morning, whether inspiration shows up or not. When the system is solid, the result arrives naturally. You don't have to chase it. It will come find you. Goals require motivation. Systems don't. Yes, you'll get tired. Yes, you'll feel lazy. But if your system is simple enough, you'll still do it. Instead of an hour at the gym every day, start with 5 push-ups every morning. It's small, but it creates momentum, and momentum builds bigger habits. A system is like a set of train tracks. Even if you're not running at full speed, you're still moving in the right direction. So how do you start? Ask yourself, the person I want to become, what do they do every day? The healthy person. How do they eat? How do they move? The creative person. How do they write, observe, learn? The patient person. How do they respond to stress? Turn those answers into a process. Repeat them until they're part of your blood and bones. Rule number 7 reminds us a goal is just a milestone, but a system is the road itself. Your time is limited. If you live only for the high of hitting goals, you'll always feel empty after the applause fades. But if you live inside a sustainable system, every day, every step becomes its own joy. So, what will you choose today? A short-term goal or a long-term system? Start simple. Choose one small habit. Repeat it every single day. Because it's not just an action, it's a declaration of the person you're becoming. If you want to keep walking with me through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. We've got much more to explore, not just about goals, but about the systems that build a life that can't be shaken. Rule number 7 reminds us strength doesn't come from one big burst. It comes from a process repeated every single day. And if systems are the framework of life, then the morning is the starting point of that frame. Because the way you begin your day shapes the rhythm of the whole day. That's rule number 8. Win the morning. Rule number 8. Win the morning. Have you ever woken up and the first thing you reached for was your phone, scrolling through emails, answering messages, checking notifications, and within minutes, your mind is already tangled, like the whole world is pulling you before you've even taken a deep breath? Why does a new day meant to be fresh, full of strength, start in chaos and exhaustion? Is there another way? The Stoics believed it's not what happens that matters. It's how you respond. And your very first response of the day lays the foundation for everything that follows. Start with distraction, and distraction owns you. Start with discipline, and the day falls into rhythm. Win the morning, and you win the day. Neuroscience confirms it. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that governs focus, willpower, and self-control, is at its peak in the morning. That means the morning is golden hour, the best time to train your discipline. But if you waste it, doom scrolling through endless feeds, you've thrown away the sharpest weapon you had. So what should you do? It's simple. Instead of opening your phone, start with something hard. It could be exercise. It could be meditation, deep breathing, or tackling the one task you've been avoiding. When you do the hard thing first, you send a powerful message to yourself: I am in control. I choose hard over easy. I lead, I am not led. Imagine your day as a long march. The morning is the first battle. Lose it, and your mental army scatters. Win it, and confidence, discipline, strength march with you until night. I had a friend once. Every morning he grabbed his phone the second he opened his eyes. The whole day he was chasing alerts, stress, and noise. Then he changed. He started with a 20-minute run, and within weeks, he wasn't just fitter, he was calmer, more confident. Why? Because every morning he cast his vote for a new identity, the disciplined one, the proactive one, the one who masters himself. You don't need to transform your entire morning overnight. Start small. 5 minutes of meditation, 10 push-ups. Writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Drinking a glass of water instead of checking email. It's not the size of the action, it's the consistency. Every morning you repeat it. You carve into your identity, I am the one who wins my morning. Rule number 8 reminds us, the morning is not empty space. It's the launch pad, the conductor of the entire symphony of your day. Give it away to distraction, and chaos follows. Own it with discipline, and the whole day bends to your rhythm. Your time is limited. Every morning lost is a piece of life you can never reclaim. So tomorrow morning, will you begin in panic or in power? Try it. Set your phone aside, pick one hard thing, and do it. If you want to keep walking with me on this journey through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. We'll train together not just to win the morning, but to win life itself. Morning is the start of the day. Win it early, and you lay the foundation for strength. But winning the morning is not enough, because the rest of the day will tempt you with comfort and ease. That's when we step into rule number 9, choose hard on purpose. Rule number 9, choose hard on purpose. True strength never comes from ease. It's forged in fire. In the moments you dare to step into discomfort, to train yourself. Have you noticed the more comfortable life gets, the weaker we become? Bodies grow soft from lack of movement. Minds crumble at the slightest criticism. Spirits become slaves to comfort. Why? Because strength isn't born from easy. Strength only comes when you willingly step into hard. Today, everything is at your fingertips. One tap, hot food delivered. One swipe, endless entertainment. You could live an entire day without facing a single ounce of discomfort. Sounds perfect, right? But it's dangerous. Because when you always avoid hardship, your resilience shrinks, your body weakens, your mind softens, your willpower rusts. Seneca, one of the wealthiest Stoic philosophers, chose to live simply for several days each month. He wore rough clothes, ate plain food, slept on the hard ground. Why would a man with every luxury choose hardship? Because he knew adversity was inevitable. And when it arrived, he wanted to be ready. Not shocked, not broken. Today, science calls this hormesis. The body grows stronger when tested by small doses of stress. Cold plunges train your nervous system. Heavy exercise tears muscles, then rebuilds them stronger. Fasting forces the body to adapt to endure. Choosing small hardships now prepares you for life's big storms. Think of steel. Steel only hardens when forged in fire. Avoid the fire, and it stays soft, fragile. We're no different. Comfort melts us like wax in the sun. But when you choose the flames, the trials, the discomfort, that's when real strength is forged. So what can you do today? Skip the elevator, take the stairs. Skip a meal, prove you'll be fine. End your shower with cold water. Sleep on the floor once in a while, or simply walk outside in the rain. Every time you do, you send your mind a message: I am not afraid of hard things. I choose them. I know a friend who started running in the rain. At first it felt insane, but over time, he realized he no longer feared life's surprises. Because if he could choose discomfort, what could possibly break him? Rule number 9 reminds us hardship is inevitable. But if you step into it willingly, you don't just endure, you grow. Comfort breeds weakness. Hardship creates strength. Your time is limited. Will you spend your life trapped in safety, or step out, train yourself, and be ready for the storms that will come without warning? Start today. Pick one hard thing, just one, and do it. If you want to keep walking with me on this Stoic journey through the 13 rules, hit subscribe. Together, we'll learn not just to survive, but to stand firm no matter what life throws our way. We've talked about choosing hardship as a way to train yourself, but life won't only throw challenges you pick. It will hurl obstacles you never asked for, and that's when you need Rule number 10. Turn obstacles into breakthroughs. Rule number 10. turn obstacles into breakthroughs. Have you ever wondered why some people collapse under hardship, while others rise higher because of it? Losing a job, a broken marriage, a diagnosis from the doctor. For some, it's the end. For others, it's the turning point. What makes the difference? It's not the obstacle itself, it's how we see it. Everyone faces challenges. The natural reaction is to complain, why me, why now? But the Stoics saw it differently. They treated obstacles like weights in the gym, heavy, hard to lift. But every rep makes you stronger. Every struggle builds resilience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The obstacle to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Do you hear that? Not get past the obstacle to continue on the road, but the obstacle is the road. What blocks you can build you. So how do we turn obstacles into stepping stones? It begins with one question. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this teaching me?" Change the question. Change the perspective. Change your life. Picture yourself walking down a path. A giant boulder blocks the way. You could sit and complain, or you could climb it. And from the top, you see a view you never had before. Obstacles, if you embrace them, become launch pads, like a kite. It only soars against the wind. The Stoics had a beautiful phrase, amor fati, love of fate. Not just accepting hardship, but embracing it as a gift. Not saying, "I wish this never happened," but it happened because I needed to learn this. That isn't surrender. It's power. The power to turn fate into an ally. I once had a friend who lost his job after more than 10 years. At first, it felt like the end. But instead of collapsing, he asked, "What opportunity is hidden here?" He learned new skills, started his own project. A year later, he admitted losing that job was the most painful moment, but also the greatest gift of his life. Rule number 10 reminds us obstacles aren't full stops. They're commas, opening a new chapter. You can see hardship as the enemy, or you can see it as a teacher. Your time is limited. Hardship will come. The only question is, will it break you or build you? Try it today. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What lesson is hidden here?" And you'll see, even obstacles can become the way forward. If you want to keep walking with me through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. Together we'll learn to turn even the storms of fate into fuel for growth. Because once you master this, you stop fearing hardship. But the Stoics didn't stop at endurance. They took it one step further, not just accepting adversity, but loving it as part of the journey itself. That is rule number 11, amor fati, love of fate. Rule number 11, amor fati, love of fate. Have you ever had a moment when your big plans fell apart at the last minute? When the door you had been waiting for slammed shut in your face? It feels like a slap from fate. And what's our first reaction? Frustration, resentment, asking, "Why me?" But imagine if you could smile and say, "This is exactly what was meant to happen." How different would your life be? The Stoics had a profound principle, amor fati, love of fate. It's not just acceptance, it's loving everything that happens, sweet and bitter alike. Discipline here isn't about gritting your teeth. It's about training the mind to welcome even hardship as a necessary part of the journey. Remember rule number 10. We spoke about turning obstacles into stepping stones. Amor fati goes further. It's not just, "I'll survive this." It's, "I'm grateful this happened. It made me stronger." Pain becomes fuel. Loss becomes lesson. Instead of just enduring, you grow. Picture yourself on a mountain path. There are sharp turns, slippery slopes. You could complain about how rough it is, or you could realize those very twists and rocks are what make the climb meaningful. Without them, you'd never reach the breathtaking view at the summit. Amor Fati teaches us, don't just accept the path. Love even the bumps along the way. So how do we practice Amor Fati? Start small. Your plans get canceled. Instead of anger, think this is a chance to be flexible. It rains when you wanted to go out. Don't complain. Take it as a gift of time to read, to reflect, to sit with yourself. Every time you do this, you teach your mind one truth. Don't fight fate. Walk with it. Marcus Aurelius said, "Love whatever life brings." Amor Fati doesn't make you passive. On the contrary, it frees you from wasting energy on resentment. When you love fate, you stop asking why, you put all your energy into asking, what do I do next? That is real power. I remember once a project I had worked on for months suddenly collapsed. At first, I felt crushed, as if all my effort was wasted. But later, I realized that very failure opened a better door, a path far more aligned with who I was. If that project had succeeded, I might have stayed on the wrong road for years. Amor Fati showed me what looks like loss may actually be a gift in disguise. Rule number 11 reminds us life doesn't owe us easy roads, but it always delivers the exact challenges we need to grow. You can curse fate, or you can love it with all its highs and lows. Your time is limited. Don't waste it in resentment. Tomorrow, when something unwanted happens, what will you say, why me? Or will you smile and say, this is exactly what was meant to happen? If you want to continue with me on this journey through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. Together, we'll train a mind that is not only strong, but at peace even in the storms of fate. We just spoke about Amor Fati, the love of destiny, choosing not to resent what happens, but to embrace it. But loving fate doesn't mean giving up, because there is still one place where your power is absolute. That brings us to rule number 12. Focus on the circle of control, knowing what belongs to you and what is not. Rule 12. Focus on the circle of control. Have you ever lost sleep, tossing and turning, with your mind spinning over things you can't change, tomorrow's weather, what others think of you? The result of a test you already gave your best to. You replay it again and again. But deep down, you know you're powerless. So why? Do we let our minds be imprisoned by what lies beyond our control? The Stoics divided life into 3 circles. Circle 1, the things fully under your control, your thoughts, your choices, your actions. Circle 2, the things you can influence but not command. You can advise someone, but you can't force them to listen. Circle 3, the things you can't control at all, the weather, the past, fate, the opinions of others. The mistake most of us make. We pour our energy into Circle 3, while Circle 1, the true seat of power, gets neglected. Epictetus said it clearly, some things are up to us, some are not. Know the difference and you will find freedom. Discipline isn't just hard work. Discipline is choosing where to place your attention. If you fight what you cannot change, you will break. But if you focus on what you do command, strength appears. Picture yourself as a captain at sea. You cannot control the wind, it shifts as it pleases, but you can adjust your sails. The frustrated captain curses the wind all day. The wise captain uses the wind to go further. Next time you're anxious, pause. Ask, which circle does this belong to? If it lies outside, let it go. If it lies within, take action. Worried it might rain on race day. You can't chase the clouds away, but you can train in every condition. Pack a rain jacket, prepare. Worried about what others think of you. You can't control their minds, but you can control how you live, how you respond. Psychology calls this the locus of control. Those who believe they control their actions are calmer, healthier, more successful. Stoicism is an ancient theory. It's a survival skill for the modern world. I once had a big plan collapse because of factors beyond my reach. At first, I was angry for weeks, but then I asked, which circle does this belong to? When I let go of what I couldn't change, I felt lighter, and I saw a new path, one that turned out better than the old. Rule number 12 reminds us, you can't control everything, but you always control the most important thing, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. Your time is short. Don't waste it cursing the wind. Learn to adjust the sails. Tomorrow, when worry strikes, ask yourself, which circle does this belong to? If it's outside your control, release it. If it's within, act. And you'll see, freedom isn't out there. Freedom begins inside your own mind. If you want to keep walking with me through the 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe. Together, we'll move to the final principle, the foundation of an unshakable life. We've just seen in rule number 12, don't waste your days on winds you can't control. Set your sails, focus on what's truly yours. And then comes the final question, among all the things you can control, which one reigns supreme? The Stoics were clear, it's virtue. Because everything else can be taken wealth, fame, status. But virtue is the one victory no one can ever steal. Rule number 13. Virtue is the true victory. Rule 13. Virtue is the true victory. Have you ever wondered if one day you lost it all, the money, the status, the fame? If the spotlight went dark, your account hit zero, and everything you cling to vanished. What would remain? What cannot be stolen? What cannot be burned? What cannot be stripped away, even when life knocks you to the ground? The Stoics had an answer, and it's not money, it's not fame, it's virtue. Most of us spend our lives chasing what lies outside. More wealth, more power, more recognition, more applause. We believe once I get that I'll finally be happy. But how many wealthy people have you seen still restless? How many famous faces still lonely? Happiness built on what you can't control will always be fragile. It can vanish overnight. The Stoics remind us the only thing that truly matters is virtue. Everything else is optional. You can lose your money, lose your job, even lose your reputation. But no one can take your integrity, your dignity, your character. And that is the foundation of peace, even in the storm. The Stoics left us 4 jewels: wisdom, seeing reality clearly without illusions; courage, doing the right thing even when afraid; justice, treating others with fairness and respect; temperance, mastering yourself instead of being mastered by desire. This isn't abstract philosophy. It's a compass for everyday choices. Picture yourself as a sailor at sea. The waves rise. The storm rages. You cannot control the ocean, but you do have a compass. Virtue is that compass. It doesn't calm the storm, but it keeps you on course. And more than that, virtue is a fire inside. The world can go dark, but that fire no one can put out. So how do we live with virtue? You don't need 1,000 pages. Just one simple question before every action. Does this make me wiser? Does this make me braver? Is this fair to others? Does this help me master myself? If yes, you're on the right path. If no, you know where to adjust. I once met a man who lost almost everything: his job, his savings, his relationships. But he carried himself with calm strength. I asked him why. He smiled, because I still have my integrity. I'm still free in my own mind. The rest I can rebuild. That is the power of virtue, a power no storm can destroy. Rule number 13. The final rule reminds us, true victory isn't about how much you have. It's about who you've become. Your time is short. Everything outside can vanish, but virtue is always yours to choose. So the final question is not, how can I get richer, but how can I become wiser, braver, fairer, more disciplined? Start today with one small act, one choice that reflects the person you want to be. Then repeat it, day after day. And if you've walked with me through all 13 Stoic rules, hit subscribe, because this journey isn't ending, it's only beginning. And together, we'll keep walking not just to live, but to live with dignity, with strength, and with a spirit that nothing can shake. Have you ever met someone whose shelves are packed with self-help books? They can recite quotes from the great philosophers. They nod wisely. They even speak beautifully about philosophy. And yet, their life is still a mess. Still quick-tempered, still anxious, still fragile when hardship comes. You see, knowing is easy. Living is hard. Philosophy was never meant to sit on a page. It was meant to enter the bloodstream, to shape every choice, every action, every single moment of the day. The Stoics never saw philosophy as dead words. To them, philosophy was a weapon, a sword to cut through illusion, a shield to stand firm in the storm. And it's still true for us today. This world doesn't lack knowledge. It lacks action. What you know is not power. Only when you live it, discipline it, repeat, it does it become power. You ask, how do I turn these 13 Stoic rules into real life? Not by trying to master them all at once, but by choosing just one. Maybe it's win the morning. Maybe it's turn obstacles into the way. Maybe it's focus on your circle of control. Then start small. One simple action, and stick with it for 30 days. Strength doesn't come from one big leap. It comes from small steps, steady, repeated. Our mistake is thinking we must be perfect right away. But the truth is, no one is perfect. There is only progress. You'll have lazy days. You'll stumble. Discipline doesn't mean you never fall. Discipline means when you fall, you rise. Again and again. Remember this, real strength doesn't come from the outside, not from comfort, not from easy circumstances. It comes from your mind, your character, your daily actions repeated over time. By building discipline, you don't just change yourself, you help change the world, because every strong person is a brick in the foundation of a strong society. Picture this. Your future self, wiser, stronger, calmer, is standing there waiting for you. And the road to that version of you isn't far away. It begins today, with one small choice, one small act. So when this episode ends, don't just nod. Don't just know. Say to yourself, I will live this philosophy. I have discipline. I am strong. I am becoming the person I want to be. Don't let those words echo once and fade. Let them become your compass, guiding every step. Your time is limited, and every day you are moving closer or further from your strongest self. So, which will you choose? If you're ready, pick one rule. Practice it for 30 days. Then come back, and we'll continue this journey together. And if you want to keep this fire burning, hit subscribe, because this journey doesn't end here. It's only just beginning. We will keep walking forward, not just to know, but to live.